I'm not sitting here trying to get, clicks or likes or anything like that.
Although it would be nice if you guys want to click or like the podcast.
How about you? Are you a good flirter? I mean, you got married, so you were one time in your life a good flirter.
One time I was able to do it.
Yo, what up? We're here back at Central Park. My man Ahmed Fareed.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yes.
Yes. I mean, is it crazy that I'm nervous to introduce you on the podcast because I'm still scared of your name?
That's like your least favorite part of the whole show.
Did you see how hard I just hit it there?
It's the beginning of the show where we have to do introductions.
Yeah.
You nailed it, though. It only took you 1 week.
1 week.
Yeah.
I'm coachable. I just want you to know that, okay?
So I'm excited about that. I'm excited about the fact that we made it through a week and they still want to do it.
They still wanted us.
I'm pumped about that.
Right.
And also all of our set content here. We have pillows galore.
Yeah.
We have added that. We didn't have these the first episode.
My homie, my homie,
My homie, my homie. The Mahomes pillow. Patrick
Whenever
Mahomes.
he's on, I watch.
We got the Aaron Rodgers. And then Annie made us this great new pillow in the middle.
Way to go, Annie. That is special right there. I like blue shirts, and as you know, I like to button it to the top.
Go to the top.
And I'm buttoned to the top today. Even when I wear hoodies,
with a hoodie.
I usually wear something underneath just in case it shows on screen to just fool everybody to thinking I'm very professional.
So this is all stuff you can see if you're watching on YouTube right now.
Right.
YouTube.com/NBC Sports. We appreciate you doing that. Subscribe, like it, share it if you want to do that. If you're listening, you do that. Anywhere you listen to your podcast, you can listen to Chris Simms Unbuttoned in week number 2. We got a pretty good show.
Yeah.
I feel like
lots to talk about.
We do have a mystery guest coming up. I don't want to say who that guest is because then it would ruin the mystery.
Yes, but he plays football.
Oh,
there we go.
Hint. Okay, we've narrowed it down to like several thousand people.
Several thousand. And he plays defensive football. Knocked it down to 600 people.
600,000 throughout professional and college ranks. So we're going to talk to a special guest who is in the news and who will be in the news today. We also have, we got to talk about the big news with Antonio Brown. We'll do that right off the top. Some other moves in free agency and trades. We'll rip through those as we go.
A lot of stuff went on this weekend.
It is the flirting period opens live during our taping of this show. So there could be things that we're reacting to as they happen, unfiltered.
Yeah, no,
I'm
hoping that we hear some rumors or things that, team player X is going to be signing with, Team Z as we're going here, so we can just have natural reactions and conversations to it.
We'll have winners and losers of the weekend.
Oh, winners and losers.
It's cool to be able to call someone a loser. I feel like that it makes me feel better about myself.
Oh, does it? That's good. That's great. You and everybody else on Twitter.
Correct.
Yes, just make everybody else.
Yes.
And I'm special.
So I like that. That's going to be my favorite part of the show is calling someone a loser, making me feel better about myself. But we do start with the big news. The big news. That's our animation right there. Did you like it?
That was your good announcer voice.
Antonio Brown. You heard about this?
Yeah, I did.
Antonio Brown, the trade has happened. The disgruntled wide receiver of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now he's gruntled. Right? Yeah. No longer disgruntled.
No,
he's gruntled.
You're right. That's a very good way to put it. He just gruntled.
He's just gruntled, and because he's now over in Oakland. He got the trade he wanted. He got the money he wanted. 3 years, $50 million. The Steelers didn't get much. They just got a third-round pick, fifth-round pick. You've heard about it all weekend. You've probably heard a lot of people talking about it. But you've not heard the perspective of Chris Simms on this. Just kind of break it down. Your big picture thoughts first before we get into it.
Well, I think the first thing that comes to my mind, or the first thing that hit home when I first read the news, was a third and a fifth rounder for Antonio Brown. It still seems low. I don't care that he's plus 30 years old or that he wanted new money. To me, at the end of the day, I think there's positive negatives for both teams, the Steelers and the Raiders, but I just still think there's more negatives when it comes to the Steelers in this situation where I just go, well, it just doesn't make sense to me. Okay, Martavis Bryant was traded for a third-round pick last year. He's not even in the same stratosphere as an Antonio Brown, right? And also added to that fact, okay, Antonio Brown, we know he didn't want to play for the Pittsburgh Steelers and all of that. Certainly, the Steelers, I still believe, had more leverage here to use if they wanted to.
I think so, too. I mean, you've got an elite player, right? I mean, he might be getting closer to not being elite.
Sure, he's going on the downhill slope.
But he had 15 touchdowns last year.
Right.
And he was awesome. Obviously, the last game, sitting out and all the controversy and then bashing the team, the organization, Big Ben hurt. I wonder for them if, they could have drug this out as long as they wanted to go.
Yes, they could have.
I wonder if for them, though, what they just went through last year with Le'Veon Bell.
Right.
And seeing that and how that, I mean, like, no one was happy at the end of that.
No.
If they just said at this point, you know what, let's just wipe our hands clean of this whole thing so we don't have to go through another year, another off season of what we went through last year.
I don't think that's a crazy thought. I think that probably had to be some part of their thinking there. That just not, let's stop answering the questions. Let's move on to 2019 season. Let's not talk about guys all offseason that aren't going to be contributing to the team. I think all those are very real. I still think, though, if I had to put my GM hat or my owner hat on for the Pittsburgh Steelers, I would have not let this gone so easily. You know, hey, despite all those things you just said, first of all, this is different than the Le'Veon Bell conversation just because they have contractual rights over Antonio Brown in this situation where they didn't really fully have that with Le'Veon Bell last year. They've already paid him all his guaranteed money and things that he was supposed to get. They are on the hook. Again, this is, to me, the biggest talking point of all. They're on the hook for $21.2 million for Antonio Brown, no matter what this year. So there he goes.
Dead money goes against the cap.
Goes against
You're paying
the cap.
that no matter what.
No matter what. Now, I know they don't have to pay him a salary and all that, so that's a good thing. Certainly, they can use that money wisely and constructively for their football team, but I still think I'm blown away by just the third and the fifth, okay? That's the first thing that jumps out to me, okay? On the other side of that conversation, you know, I guess I'm also amazed that the Raiders threw out that kind of money to Antonio Brown.
Yeah, that was interesting, too, because we don't know if any other team was willing to give him.
I pretty much know. I know, I got well informed of this conversation.
Raiders on an island, from what you know.
From everything I know.
That much money.
From people around the NFL. Raiders on an island really in two cases. One, I think part of the reason Pittsburgh maybe acted so quickly or aggressively here to get rid of Antonio Brown, I don't think there was much of a market from him. Everything I was told from people around the NFL and everything, that there was teams that called, but nothing got more than just lukewarm on Antonio Brown.
See, I don't totally get that.
Well,
was it his attitude? Because he's obviously elite on the field.
Yes.
And, $3 million, $50 million 3 years for the Raiders that they're going to pay Antonio Brown.
Right.
That's not crazy. I mean, Sammy Watkins got that money from
no
the
doubt.
Chiefs. I mean, this is not crazy money we're talking about here for Antonio.
No, I get that. And I think to what you're saying is, you don't get that aspect of it. Yeah, I understand that. I think the big thing is, and this is a phrase that somebody with knowledge of the situation used with me, is he was considered radioactive. That was the word they used. Most teams just didn't want to touch him because they didn't know what it was gonna entail or what you had to do or deal with the guy, which I understand because the stories you hear out of Pittsburgh, and I know a lot of them, it has not been easy dealing with Antonio Brown. He does work hard. He is a baller, to like what you're saying. But at the same time, I don't think the market was as robust as people think. And I certainly know that nobody was willing to offer up this kind of money for Antonio Brown, which leads me to one other thing.
Yeah.
And this I don't know, but I know I've been around the NFL to know things like this have happened in the past where did Antonio Brown, Drew Rosenhaus always know it was the Raiders, right? Mm-hmm. Did the Raiders and them work together, just in cahoots basically to go, hey, listen, we'll pay you your money. We really want you, but we don't want to give away one of our first-round picks, right? That's the angle they're playing. So do they come up with a plan, and this is kind of Chris Simms, conspiracy theory.
Do everything he can to suppress his value.
Exactly right. Go on social media, talk about how much you want more money, how you're calling the shots, abuse Big Ben on Twitterverse and everything else to where it lowers your value out there on the market. I know you're probably going, that's a little conspiracy, but crap like that does happen in the NFL.
It's a little bit like the flat earth thing. Just a little. You're kind of going borderline.
No, it's not as crazy as the flat earth thing.
Getting there,
you're insane.
You're insane. But stuff like that could happen. If that could be proved that happened, they'd be in some trouble there. Because I don't think the rest of the NFL, the other teams would. No, but they can't prove that because it goes on all the time. What do you think? Nobody talked to each other at the combine last week? True. You know what I mean? So yes, I think there could have been a wink, handshake under the table type thing. We'll pay you the money.
We'll pay you the money.
Do what you can.
We're just not giving away our first round pick. If you can find a way to make the Steelers agree to something less than the first round pick, I know it sounds like
he goes, I know what I'll do. I'll just trash the organization in Big Ben.
Well, exactly right. And there you go. And then all of a sudden everybody goes, man, we're scared of hell of this guy. We don't want to trade for him. And all of a sudden that first-round pick goes, man, I don't know if I want to give him a second-round pick. You see this guy on Instagram every day? So I'm just saying those are real possibilities. I have no knowledge of that part of the situation, but I do have knowledge that nobody was offering money other than the Raiders and that there was not a big market for him trade-wise to get it done right now. And that's why if I'm the Steelers, I would have waited. I just wouldn't have done it this quickly. So
maybe a little bit of it was laying it on thick. Maybe some of it was an act. You know, if it wasn't, and Antonio Brown is perhaps a volatile character. We knew that at the end of the year when he didn't play the final game for the Pittsburgh Steelers when they needed him. You need a team. You need a coach that can handle him. They can get the most out of him.
Right.
You played for Jon Gruden. You know him. Can he do that with Antonio Brown?
100%.
You think
he can do it? I do. I think Jon welcomes these type of personalities, first of all. Just in my experience and just playing under Jon in Tampa Bay, he always used to say, got to have a few renegades on the team. Got to have a few of them, in his Chucky voice. It keeps the locker room on edge. The team gets an edge when you got a few renegades on the team. And I understand that's where Warren Sapps of the world came into play, or Dwight Smith, who was a DB for them. Little guys, a little edge that weren't allowed to speak, weren't afraid to speak their mind, or cuss a player out from time to time if they were doing bad. I think he does welcome that. I think Gruden knows how to play to these type of personalities, and more than anything, this is where Jon Gruden's fandom comes out, because Jon Gruden's a great coach, great offensive mind, won a Super Bowl, all of that. But man, does he love football and loves players. Like, he is going to just gush about Antonio.
You think he'll make sure he feels welcome, secure, happy? He's not going to be the tough Jon Gruden yelling at Antonio Brown.
No, Ahmed, I think it's going to be like total, just ass-kissing session from day one. And I mean that respectfully, but I mean it in the fact where the first meeting of the year is going to be Antonio Brown highlights to the team. To where he's going to show guys on the team so they all buy in from Jump Street and go, look at what this guy, look at this new guy I got
the
here.
Other players are going to get sick of that, right? Like, okay,
they are.
Yeah, okay, yeah. And
but it'll be
great.
a one-time thing. It'll be a one-time thing. You're right. They're going to get sick of the gushing about it because it's all Gruden's going to talk about. But it's going to be a one-time thing to go, look what we got here. This is what we paid for. He's going to justify that to the team. Then, two, he's going to go from there when they get into offensive meetings and things. That's where he's really going to placate to the Antonio Brown ego.
So he's happy to have a playmaker on offense. Offensively last year, Raiders just were not explosive enough. They needed some wide receivers. They got maybe the best one right now in all of football.
No, he's not the best in all of football to me.
Who's
I still would say Odell Beckham Jr., Julio Jones, or Tyreek Hill. I would take over them. Now, he's top 5, but I'm not going to sit here and say he's the number 1 receiver in football at 31 years old. And we certainly could have argued last year if he was the best receiver on his football team. And that was a conversation. I mean, his teammates thought Juju Smith-Schuster was the MVP of the offense.
Who is now ready, who Juju now tweeted out that he is ready. He goes, I'm ready.
Yeah.
Although I feel like, okay, you're ready to be the number 1 guy. Yeah. It always is nice to have Antonio Brown on your team.
Right. You don't even know what you're ready for yet.
I feel like you don't necessarily want to be the number 1 guy when you're the receiver. You like to have help. You like to have the best corner, perhaps not covering you in a football game.
No doubt about it.
It's certainly a better life.
Going to make life a little harder that he is going to be, enemy number 1 for defenses when they play the Pittsburgh Steelers now, certainly. But also, if he proves he can play and still be the main target for Big Ben and all those things, it's only going to lead to bigger money and bigger contracts when it comes that time for Juju Smith-Schuster in that conversation. So I think he will welcome the challenge. The Steelers are amazing at finding wide receivers in the draft, or finding guys that are under the radar and having them contribute to the team. So they'll have to continue that this offseason.
Although wide receivers are pretty hit and miss in the draft. Have you seen some of the first-round wide receivers that have been taken in the past 4 years since 2015?
Yeah.
There's some boom-bust going on there. People always talk about the running backs being boom-bust in the first round. They might be able to do it, and they have a good track record of doing it.
They do.
But I feel like that's pretty dicey trying to find those guys that really do hit in the first round as far as the wide receivers.
No, it is. And I don't think they should look in the first round, because look at guys like that we were just talking about. Juju was a second-rounder. Antonio Brown's a sixth-rounder, right? Mike Wallace was a mid-round pick. Emmanuel Sanders. Some teams have a niche at finding certain positions and figuring out what works. And, they got James Washington in the second round out of Oklahoma State last last year. They're going to need him to contribute to the team. But, yeah, they're going to have to work their magic as far as the receiver position is concerned. And I do trust that they can do that, and I think they trust that. It's part of the reason I think they were willing to do this, let alone they have some talent there. They still got James Conner. They still got good tight end play.
Right.
And let's not forget, okay, Big Ben, okay, is assholey as he can be. I don't even know. You like that word? Assholey?
That's
like
an
that?
adjective.
Is it an adjective?
Yeah.
He can be that way. And most teammates look at him that way at times. Media members, he's not exactly like Johnny Friend to everybody on the football team. Because he acts that way, I do think people forget how awesome this guy is on the field. I would argue Big Ben is in the conversation for one of the 10 greatest quarterbacks of all time. I really would. Certainly one of the better.
Someone just laughed at that.
I know. That's
Someone didn't like that.
I was like, how dare they? But I do think that Antonio Brown, and you look at the highlights of Antonio Brown, and you look at everything that you see, man, everything I see is always throw on the money, throw on the money,
It's
throw
been a
on
good
the money.
It's been a good for both of them.
So it is.
Been good for both of them. But yeah, maybe Big Ben's a little under the radar, even though he is headed to the Hall of Fame. But so here's the deal. You have two happy quarterbacks right now.
Yes.
So you have Big Ben, who seems happy that he gets rid of a malcontent that was bashing him. He doesn't have to play with him even more, even though he's going to miss him on the field. You have Derek Carr now for the Raiders, who's very happy, but now has to feed Antonio Brown, feed the beast,
sure,
try to cultivate that relationship. It's going to be good from the get-go. You know, there's a lot of pleasantries going back and forth. But for Derek Carr, you've got to deal with a guy. You got to feed him the ball. And if you're 5 games in, the team's 1-4, and AB's got 10 catches, no touchdowns. I don't know. You have experience with some wide receivers that you felt you needed to feed the ball to and keep them happy. What's that about to be like for Derek Carr?
There's going to be pressure. Now, I think that's part of the magic of why they make him the 3-year, $50 million deal, right? Let's not have him come in here and not pay him and then go through the first 2 or 3 weeks where he doesn't catch as many balls, and all of a sudden we have a scene here in Oakland, right? Yeah. So maybe this lessens the edge if things don't go as smoothly right away,
He's
right?
made his money. It doesn't need to be all right away.
It doesn't need to be all right away. Everything, the offense that'll come. I think this just takes one less avenue of dysfunction away, the fact that they paid him. So I'm never going to fault the Raiders for doing that. Yeah. You got a guy you wanted to get him there, you want to help out your offense. Okay, you had a ton of money in the salary cap room, you want it to go smoothly, you pay the money and shut the guy up, right? For lack of a better phrase, so things can at least start off smoothly. Yeah, there's going to be pressure on Derek Carr and Jon Gruden, but good pressure. I mean, Derek Carr, it's going to be the kind of pressure where, like, you talk about flirtation period, where you wanted the girl to like you so much, or you had a friend in school where you're like, man, I really want this guy to, like, I want to be buddies with this guy.
I want him to be my bro.
I want him to be my bro, right? And you feel that pressure. That's what a quarterback feels with, like, a big-time receiver.
And I feel like if you go up to that guy and say, hey, man, I really want to be your bro, it's over.
Oh, without a doubt. Then he's like, this guy's a dork. I'm never going to be friends with this guy.
So I hope, for Derek's sake, he didn't go up to Antonio and be like, I want to be your bro.
Right.
It might ruin it right away.
It might ruin it. It's like when I played with Randy Moss, I had to slow play it because I really wanted to be like fanboy and be like, oh, Randy, you're so awesome. What about this? What about that? But I didn't want him to look at me and be like, man, this Simms guy is an absolute dork. Get away from me.
You're okay.
Yeah.
You're fine.
I eased my way into the relationship.
Well, you played with Keyshawn.
Well, right. So that's what I was going to go with. I mean, guys like Keyshawn, Joey Galloway when I was with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Yeah, you want to make sure, hey, did I throw that ball the right way? What are you thinking at this when you run this route or that route? And how would you like to run that route so we're on the same page? You're constantly having those conversations. Yeah. So not only do you make yourself feel good, but you want the player to like you and know that there's, that as a receiver, hey, I'm your quarterback and I really care what you think. And that will put pressure on you. Like, I look at Jameis Winston and Deshaun Jackson. I think that's part of the reason that hasn't hit. Jameis wants to hit him so bad deeply down the field.
He wants that to work.
He wants it to work so bad
for himself,
that when he drops back and sees him open, he puts extra pressure on him. Like, oh gosh, he's open. I got to throw it perfect for him. Oh, I missed him. It can happen that way, but Gruden is going to make it all about Antonio Brown. He's going to go that team meeting and show the team how awesome he is. He's going to go to offensive meetings and show old clips of Jerry Rice and Sterling Sharp when Gruden used to coach the Packers or the Raiders or the 49ers, and he's going to show them running all the plays that he has in his offense and go, look, this is what you're going to do, Antonio. So he's going to play to that part of him too, let alone, this is the final, at least my final point with this whole conversation. Antonio Brown has now reached legendary status. Legendary. he is going to be a legend in an NFL locker room.
Yeah.
Because he
fought the system. He demanded a trade, which, I mean, people think in the NFL the teams have all the leverage, which for the most part they do. Teams, what happened?
I'm looking at our guest, and we might not be able to have him on yet.
No.
Yeah, it might not be.
We lost our mystery guest.
We might be moved with our guest here.
No, we didn't.
He might be hamstrung with actually being able to talk
openly and freely. Because it might not be official yet.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. We didn't say who the mystery guest was going to be, so we'll just call like an old friend of mine that I played high school football with.
Hold on. Let's just see how this works here.
So we could lose the interview.
We could lose the interview right at this moment. I am totally being Johnny on the spot. But wait, I didn't.
Did you say please? Did you say nicely?
I always do. Don't you know me enough to know that I'm a pretty polite guy?
You're very polite.
Okay.
But I just didn't, maybe in this one instance you weren't polite.
I totally messed up our mojo on the Anthony Brown thing.
No, so this was your big crescendo, your big point, and I've heard you talk about this, is that, you know, the teams have all the leverage.
Right.
I mean,
right.
The CBA is geared towards the teams. Guaranteed money is so low on a lot of these contracts. When a player is productive, they can keep him on a good deal for the team. When the player stops being productive, boom, you're gone, and we don't have to pay you. Might take a cap hit, but we don't have to pay you money. Antonio Brown is circumventing the system. He
is circumventing the system. He becomes a locker room legend when you do things like this, because most guys, and as you know, the NFL is almost this little bit of a military aspect, right? Mm-hmm. Hey, you receive your orders, coach says run through the wall. I say, yes, sir, coach, I'll run through the wall. What technique would you like me to use? That's just the way football goes. And, you know, more times than not, yeah, I mean, players in the NFL, especially as compared to the other sports, don't get to call their shots, let alone players in the NFL who are under contract and are forcing their way off of a team and then also asking for money at the same time.
Yeah.
When they're not even off that team yet, you become the guy that's like, you've defeated the powers to be. We've all had to step in line, but you are so awesome, and you pulled off this Instagram, social messaging, and everything like that.
And you got everything you wanted.
You got everything you wanted, to where you were going to be looked at in the locker room as a legend. You really were. He'll be all locker rooms, not even just the Raiders.
The question is, though, is this a trend? Is this a roadmap for other players, or is this just something that happened to Antonio Brown in a weird, specific situation? With a team that dealt with it last year, with similar situation with Le'Veon Bell. I mean, is this just a one-off? A lot of people are going to think this is just a one-off.
I don't think it is. I think this is going to open Pandora's box.
Really?
Yeah, I do, because I think this is more of an eye-opener to players to go, wait, okay, if I really want off a team, I can pull this off. Now, it's only going to be the star players. That's the first thing. It's not going to be like the backup linebacker of a football team or anything like that.
But if you're in like a top 3 at your position, you feel like now this is on the table.
It certainly is on the table. The players are becoming more and more business savvy, right, with all different types of conversation. But yes, I think this will be looked at as, okay, as long as you can swallow the pill of being unpopular with popular opinion, right, which Antonio Brown, anything you looked at recently, I mean, other than the Raiders fans right now, it's, he's got a big mouth, he's a jerk, you know, why doesn't he just honor his contract? It's all, I mean, it's mostly negative. Okay, if you can handle that negative scrutiny from the media and everything like that, then yeah, you're going to be able to call some of your own shots. I mean, hey, listen, you're seeing it. I mean, even did you see what, you know, I don't want to get off topic because I know we're going to talk about it maybe later. Frank Clark, I mean, I'm not coming or playing during training camp unless I get a long-term deal because he's been franchised. Right. You know, guys are going to start to do what they need to do to make sure they can maximize their dollars as businessmen because their lives and their bodies are their business.
You're going to get some players that miscalculate, right?
I'm sure.
They think they're more important. Their agent thinks they're more important than the team thinks, and then it ends up blowing up in their face.
Yes.
But maybe it is a roadmap for some of these players, some of these elite players to get what they want, and they see they do have a little bit more power than maybe they thought previously. Before we get off Antonio Brown here, I just want to do a couple over-unders here. So he's had 1,200 receiving yards each of the past 6 seasons. Raiders haven't had one of those since Jerry Rice back in 2002. So will he over-under 1,200 yards receiving with the Raiders? Will he do that?
Over.
You're going.
I'm going over 100% because again, my experience with Jon Gruden and being in that offense and how he plays to those type of players, he's going to make every play about Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown, the first 30 plays that get installed with Oakland Raiders this offseason, he is going to be the first read on 28 of them. The Jon Gruden's going to go, and see, and the Z receiver, which is 84, he's, here's the first read, and then if they cover him, here's the second read. Yeah. It's going to be him, until it gets so blatantly taken away that then they're going to have to use other parts or people in their offense.
15 touchdowns last year for Antonio Brown, led the league over under 15.
Under. Yes.
Touchdowns can be fluky. That can be fluky.
Can be fluky, and he's, again, I think if you went back and watched some of the highlights from last year, a lot of the touchdown outage, I don't even know what I want to say. No, that's not the correct word.
The touchdowns.
Touchdowns.
Don't even go there.
Yeah.
Don't even go there.
I wanted you to join in on me with the idiocy there. The quarterback comes into play there too.
Yeah.
And again, as much as whatever we think of Big Ben off the field, which I do think detracts from what he is on the field, he is a special elite thrower of the football, to where, again, go back and watch the highlights and watch how many bombs are down the sideline that are perfectly thrown, or Big Ben being patient in the pocket and sliding and then throwing a 30-yard laser into the back of the end zone.
So you feel it's a significant downgrade in quarterbacks?
I think there's definitely a downgrade in quarterbacks.
Nothing against Derek, but you just think Big Ben's that good.
I do. I think Big Ben is that good. I think there's a difference between their style of play and their high-end play at this point of their career. Yes, I do.
Okay, all right.
Touchdowns is a big thing. That's not all just about the player. That's about the quarterback too, and his ability to find you in some of those big moments or make extraordinary plays in the red zone, which Derek Carr has only showed really 14 games worth of doing when he had that special year 2 or 3 years ago.
So the touchdown outputtage.
Under.
Outputtage.
Outputtage.
The outputtage you're going to go with?
Technical term. Outputtage.
Is there anything else? Have we covered it all?
I think we did. I think we got to all the ABB. The people listening that are producing this podcast, do you think we got it all?
Yeah. Is there anything else? I think that's
Okay, he said we did an okay job.
We did an okay job.
Thanks for giving us that confidence.
I feel like we talked for like 20 minutes. There's at least 30 seconds in there that we can use and promote through all our channels here on NBC Sports. Let's go through some free agencies. There's been some news with trades and free agency, kind of like a quick hitter here. I want to get the Chris Simms thought on some of these moves.
Hold on. I do think we have our guest still capable. So he just, all right.
No, you're getting my hopes up.
I know.
And then
it's called flirtation today. It's flirtation day.
We're flirting with our guest, and that might not end well.
Yes. So let me give one more final text here to make sure this is all.
So if we do the interview with our mystery guest, it could get him in trouble. Is that what we're saying?
I think it's maybe some of the details about the mystery guest. That's what we might not be able to talk about.
We could talk to the mystery guest, but we may not be able to bring up certain things.
Okay. Yeah.
I am even more intrigued than I ever have been.
So let's do Matt Casey in the back. We can call him. He's got 10 minutes for us. The one thing that I know we're not allowed to talk about is contract related, right?
Okay.
So we'll be able to talk about this player, and we'll introduce him to everybody in a second.
I'm going to follow your lead.
Okay.
I don't want to do anything to get anyone arrested.
But no reported contract details or anything like that. But when we get him on the phone, we'll go in on him there.
Can we can say that there are reports out there right now that Malik Jackson has signed with the Eagles. Reports out there that that deal is going to get done.
Yep.
Played with the Denver Broncos, was part of the Super Bowl team with the Denver Broncos. Played the last 3 years with Jacksonville.
Yep.
That happened too. There are reports that the deal is 3 years, $30 million. That is the reports out there. We will not necessarily talk about that with the guest.
No.
But that's the reported deal with the Eagles.
Yep.
So yeah, Malik Jackson with the Eagles.
Yeah, we're hoping to have him on the phone here in a few minutes. But of course, makes sense, right? They got rid of Michael Bennett. They needed this type of guy. Malik Jackson's really just a younger version of Michael Bennett in a lot of ways. So he's that guy.
Bennett's going to the Patriots.
He could play DN, defensive tackle. Malik Jackson Jackson can really do it all. Yes, had that phenomenal year in 2015 with the Denver Broncos where they won the Super Bowl. You could put them in the conversation for one of the greatest defenses we saw in single-season history. I mean, they were a team that was carried by their defense, right? And a less than stellar offense with a kind of done Peyton Manning. But Malik Jackson being there, then going to Jacksonville where he got a huge payday. I mean, he's a hell of a player who's still got a lot of years in front of him. I think it's actually a brilliant signing by the Philadelphia Eagles. I mean, it makes sense in so many ways.
Yeah, and you know him, the Simms family, very close.
Yeah, we know him.
With the Jacksons. How far does that go back?
Yep. Well, it goes back to Tennessee, college days at Tennessee. My brother was on the Tennessee Volunteers with Malik Jackson. They were very close that way.
Because he was at USC and then transferred to Tennessee.
Exactly right. Just
because he saw Simms on the roster and said, I want to become linked with that family.
Right, just like you did. You left the Bay Area and you said, let me come to NBC Sports because Simms is there.
I could do a podcast on a couch with a button-down shirt.
Your dreams are coming true in front
Chris
of you.
Simms, sign me up. And I came over here. So we're trying to get him on the phone right now. He is the mystery guest. The mystery is out.
Yep, and I think we're getting close.
It sounds
like we got him.
Do we have him now?
What's up, Mr. Simms?
Oh, there he is. Oh, Mr. Shiny New Money. How are you, Malik Jackson?
I'm doing well. How you guys doing?
We're good. I'm here with Ahmed Fareed, okay? Just so you know, this is my new Chris Simms Unbuttoned podcast on NBC Sports, okay? So you're one of our first guests. You should be honored. I hope you know that.
Thank you for telling me that. I appreciate that. I am.
So, are you in the car right now? Or are you driving?
I am. I have to go work out. You know what I'm saying? But do you want me to just put the phone to the ear?
Be very careful. We just want you to be very careful.
I don't care. Either way, whatever's more comfortable for you. I want two hands on the steering wheel. You're a very important investment for the Philadelphia Eagles, so please be careful, okay?
Yeah. Well, we still got to cross some I's and dot some T's, but right now it's just trying to figure out everything.
Right. So Malik, Chris has told us that you can't talk about everything right now, but what can you talk about? Can you talk about the Eagles and what kind of drew you in their direction?
I mean, right now I think I just want to talk about being able just to have an opportunity. You know what I'm saying? I think that's what it's about. Last year with the Jaguars, just was a very trying year, being sat down for whatever reason and one reason or another and, having to kind of ask the coaches to still rush, So to be able to be in a position where you have teams after you and that still respect you and that want to make things work, it's dope.
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess I want to start there, Malik. What is your 2 cents on the Jacksonville Jaguars? You have this unbelievable 2017 season. What kind of led, you think, in your opinion, to the dysfunction of the 2018 season and not being able to repeat some of that success?
I think it was just a lot of injuries. The year we went to the AFC Championship, it was one of those things. We had injuries, but we had injuries, but they were more to the second team, third team, and a few of the starters. But this year, a lot of the starters went down, and it was really a big issue. So I think that's what really happened, when guys just went down on the first team, and we lost a lot of offensive guys, throughout the year, and it just really hurt us. And so I think that's what really what it was. That was the difference.
I've always wanted to ask you this just because I know that Denver team you were on was so special, and I view that Jaguars defense that you were just on as very special as well. Like, what defense was more talented in your opinion, over the last few years, the Jaguars or that Broncos D?
I think if I'm comparing, I have to be very objective. I think the Broncos did. They won the Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? I think that D had a lot of key older guys. You had D Ware. You know what I'm saying? You had Von Miller. And not to say our ends on the Jaguars weren't the best, but I'm just saying
that was a special defense.
Just an all around talent. And I think the things that were accomplished with that team is second to none. So for my opinion, it's Broncos D.
Yeah, Broncos defense probably might have been better, but the Jacksonville defense and the crew that you guys had together might have been more entertaining. There were some serious personalities on that team. How did that all go? Did that ever get in the way, or was that always a positive for you guys?
No, it was definitely a positive. I think it was one of the things we all embraced. Everybody's way of life and how they did things. Now, I think you know, Chris, we don't always have to agree with each other, but we have to respect each other. And I think we did that very well. And, sometimes guys said some things, but we're all grown men, and we would say something back and get over it. But nobody was really something that, it was never really something that really got in the way at all too many times.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so here you are, a guy who's done a lot of great things, made a lot of money in his career already. Are you motivated by the things that went on to Jacksonville last year, the fact that they sat you down for a minute? You're going to work out right now, so you must be motivated by something.
Oh, I'm very motivated. I think last year was a very trying year for me. I mean, by week 7, they were telling me, hey, we want to kind of see some other guys do things. And I had just came off a Pro Bowl year. So things didn't really make sense to me. You know what I'm saying? I felt like it was a lot of business decisions that went on and things that were bigger than me and bigger than my control. So, having to go through that, it sucked, But I was kind of, not gonna lie, I was kind of ready to get out of there by week 10. But, you still you have to honor your contract and understand what it is. And I just was seeing the light, so to speak. So, I just tried to not be the guy, not be the angry black guy, so to speak. Be out there voicing my concerns, letting everybody know I'm upset. You know what I'm saying? Being that vet that just causes issues. I took my licks or I took the situation as it is, and I just tried to go out there with the best I can do. Miami game, I had I had 2 sacks, so that ended my season with 3.5, and it was decent. I just wish it could have been done better, but at least I was healthy, and I got out, and, I still have a little market for myself.
So, okay, so now, I mean, I don't know how much you could talk. Of course, the rumors are that you're going to the Philadelphia Eagles, okay? And I don't know how much you want to comment about those rumors or anything like that, and we don't have to get into any details that you're uncomfortable with. But if you were to be on the Eagles here in the recent future, what has jumped out to you about their team? Another special D-line that you would get to be a part of if you joined that squad.
No, yeah. I mean, if I did, it'd be very special. They got Brandon Graham, Fletcher Cox to be one of the, to say the least, is one of the best guys, if not the best interior rushers in the league.
Right.
Or not rushing and run play. I can't downplay the run game he has. So it's one of those things to be able to, for me, being able to play with guys like, Kevin Vickerson in Denver, Sean Phillips in Denver, DeMarcus Ware, Von Miller, go to Denver, Jacksonville, play with Calais Campbell. You know what I'm saying? And now I'll be able to go play with Fletcher Cox and these guys. I mean, hell, I've had a great career. More than monetary value, I've been able to learn a lot. So for me, being able to have the ability to, if I do go up there and play with them, to be able to play with them would be awesome, man. Just to be able to learn and make my game better and hopefully be close to what he is. He's a 4-time Pro, 5-time Pro Bowler, All Pro. So it's a blessing.
Yeah, certainly a benefit to that team, the Eagles, if it were to happen and if those T's are crossed, those I's are dotted. Malik, we were just talking about a little bit ago about the big news over the weekend was Antonio Brown and kind of what he did.
Yeah,
the power play, as Chris likes to call it, and basically becoming a hero to a lot of players out there from what he was able to do. It seems like teams mostly have the leverage all the time here. Antonio Brown was able to take the leverage. You've had a really interesting road, former 5th-round pick. You were not a top pick, former 5th-round pick, and then you're a Super Bowl champion. Then you get the big deal, but now, as you just described, in the middle of that big deal, things go sour with the team and you're released. What are your thoughts on kind of what you just saw with Antonio Brown, and now having been through a couple situations in the NFL, the leverage of the player versus the leverage of the team as it currently stands in the NFL?
No, I mean, I'm very happy for him. He's an explosive player. I honestly think he's been getting underpaid these last 2 years. So for him, hopefully he gets contract restructured and gets what he deserves. But I think it's one of those things that, like you said, the owners and the teams have a lot of power over us. You know what I'm saying? We have a very and it sucks. So for him to be, for him and Le'Veon Bell to be like, you know what, I'm done with this. I'm done with you guys. I'm gonna do what I need to do to protect myself. I hope he's opened a lot of doors and opened a lot of mindsets for a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? To be able to change the way that we go about our business and the way we feel about ourselves. It's not like it's not like a thing that we're I gotta make sure I act good or don't say this or don't say that. Nah, if you're providing for this team and you're a valuable part of this team, you should be able to do and say what you feel like and not have to feel like you're one of the 52 boys on the team. You know what I'm saying? So I think that what he did is admirable, and you know, I'm happy for him that he got out. You know, and they didn't send him somewhere where, you know, they didn't really have a good thing going for him. So I'm glad he gets to keep his career going and do what he wants.
Yeah, I mean, I was saying this before we had you on, and I just want to know this will be the last question. We'll let you go on so you can work out and earn all your new money and get ready. But I was saying to Ahmed here earlier, just like, you become a locker room legend when you pull things off like Antonio Brown. You know, he kind of debunked the system, right, with how he went about it on social media and all that. Do you feel the same way, or am I off on that?
No, I think it is. It's funny because I was talking to my football friends, and I was like, dang, he must think this is like basketball, the way he's acting. You know what I'm saying? Like football guys, we don't really act like that, you know, going on shows and talking about our situation. You know what I'm saying? So I think, like I said earlier, he's opened eyes and doors, so we feel like we don't have to hush ourselves or act like, you know, if we say something bad about the team we're on, 31 others are going to shun us. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to say what I have to say, and these are my truths, and it is what it is, you know, because the NFL and these owners damn sure don't, and GMs damn sure don't shy away from letting you go if you're not doing what you have to do. So I think it's fair, and I'm glad we have, you know, an equal playing field. Starting to, I should say.
Yeah,
you know?
Right. Starting to. Right. Cool. Exactly right.
That's cool. Yeah.
All right.
Absolutely.
Thanks for joining us, bro.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for being safe on the road as well, and congratulations on the new deal when it becomes official.
Yeah, well, whenever that happens, I hope it does. Thank you, Mr. Simms, man. Hey, congratulations on the new show and everything, brother.
Thanks, dude.
Talk to you soon.
You the man, Malik. Good luck with everything, dude. See ya.
Well done. So that worked out. All right.
It worked out. Right. I mean, yes, we're hearing all those reports. You know, I know that, you know, he can't comment or anything like that at this point because probably nothing's official yet. But I think there's a pretty good chance that he ends up with the Philadelphia Eagles either some point Tuesday morning, late Monday night, whenever that may be.
He didn't want you to screw it up for him. You know, he was like, no, don't do anything to screw it up for me. This is almost going to happen for me. It's a really good situation, Chris. Don't do this to me. So that is news that came out just a little bit ago. Malik Jackson, mystery guest. Thank you for joining the show.
I like how he said that. These guys think he's an NBA player or something?
I know. We got more news.
Yeah.
And I'm just hearing in my ear, Trent Brown.
Ooh. All right.
To
Trent Brown.
The Raiders.
Oh, I'm not shocked by that.
Why do you say that?
Well, they certainly needed some offensive line help. They have the money once again. You know, I've been saying, and this is something I said to Florio a lot on Pro Football Talk, you know, I do think Jon Gruden and company, like, they're not taking a quarterback. They're going to be behind Derek Carr this year. My first argument would be is that, you know, how do you know what Derek Carr is yet? But the way last year went around, there was no talent around him at wide receiver. Running back wasn't that special. I would argue it was the worst pass protection in all of football. So, you know, hey, they drafted a Colton Miller in the first round last year. You know, it sounds like they're going to trade away Kelechi Osemele, whoever the hell you say it. I always butcher that one too.
That one's a very difficult one.
But it sounds like they're going to lose him.
Yep.
They want to protect Trent Brown so they can protect Derek Carr so Derek Carr can then therefore make the right decisions and throws to justify 3 years, $50 million for Antonio Brown. So it's almost like the chain effect. But, okay, there's big Trent Brown, who had a phenomenal year last year.
With the Patriots.
Yeah, with the Patriots.
They're moving. I mean, Raiders are moving money around so much. And if you go back to last year with at the start of the year with Khalil Mack.
Right.
They're just moving money around so much. You take $10 million, Kelechi Osemele, he's gone. You replace it now with Trent Brown. You add the $20 million per year, $19 million per year from Antonio Brown. Mike Mayock's got his work cut out for him here, but they're active
Good
so
start.
far.
Do we have any numbers yet as far as anything been heard on
multiple reports? 4-year, $66 million deal.
Wow, 4 years, $66 million deal. Wow, that's $17 million a year, right? Am I correct with that? Yes, I am correct.
How'd you do that? 36 and change guarantee.
Wow. So that's big time franchise tackle type of money. And I guess the big thing I'll be interested to see.
16.5 per year.
16.5 per year. The big thing I'm going to be interested to see is Colton Miller, who they drafted out of UCLA, is really your prototypical left tackle. He played left tackle last year.
He had a really rough year.
He had a rough year, no doubt. So what do? Are they going to put Trent Brown at left and make him right? Trent Brown, in theory, is more of like a right tackle to begin with. That's what he did a lot for the San Francisco 49ers. The Patriots really were the ones that moved him to left tackle. So I'll just be interested to see how they play that. Do they move Trent Brown to left tackle and wait for Colton Miller to develop a little bit more before they put him back over there and move him to right tackle? All interesting things, but I'm a big fan of that move.
Okay, quick hitters.
Yeah.
Pat's trade for Michael Bennett.
Ooh.
Your thoughts?
I mean, just WWBBD. What would Bill Belichick do? And what he would do is he's not going to pay 5 years, $90 million for a guy like Trey Flowers. That's just not in his DNA. It's very rare that the Patriots make those type of moves. I mean, I can only really think of 2 of them. I mean, 3 of them. Of course, Brady, they're going to do that. But Devin McCourty, okay, and Stephon Gilmore are really like the only people I can remember. Adalius Thomas, maybe back in the day where they spend money. But I think, again, this is New England going, we're not going to pay all this money to a player who, you know, with saying that, I don't think they think is in the elite class of defensive ends in all of football and Trey Flowers. They get a guy from Michael Bennett where they go, okay, we got to pay him $7 million. That's
1 year
all
left, $7 million,
right?
Yeah.
So,
although he said he feels like he's underpaid.
Yeah, well, good luck winning that war with New England. Let's see him continue to have that conversation. But I just think that's New England. If they think you're worth 4 cents, they're not going to pay you 4.5 cents. That's the way they do business. And I think they found a guy that they felt like experienced. Bell has always loved Michael Bennett. If you go back and watch America's Game, the year they had to play the Seattle Seahawks in the Super Bowl, oh my gosh, all they talked about was Michael Bennett and blocking him. So makes a lot of sense from that standpoint.
So we're going through the free agency quick hitters. I said that was a little too long for a quick hitter.
Yeah.
It was great information. That was great information.
Right.
I feel like we need to condense it.
Oh, do you?
No, I mean, it was good information.
Man.
But it was the quick hitters is like the quick, you know.
Screw this guy. Who is he? I don't know.
I'm feeling confident in my second week right now.
Good. I'm glad you are. Fine. I'll be quicker.
So the Pats
I like
traded
how
for
you
Michael
missed
Bennett.
Rogers change your shoes before the podcast.
I like these shoes. I like the look of the Vans, although they're kind of like knockoff Vans.
No, they're cool. I
real.
like them. They fit you.
Which only you can see on our YouTube channel right now. So if you're listening, you're not seeing my knockoff Vans.
Right. Now, if I could just get you to stop drinking that really unhealthy energy drink.
Why do you say it's so unhealthy?
Because it has a lot of unhealthy crap in it.
I know, but it has caffeine in it. I like the energy drink.
And a bunch of other chemicals that enhance the caffeine just to make sure you just get on the verge of having a heart attack, but don't die, but you can say I have energy.
So key words, don't die.
Don't
as
die.
Long as I don't die,
I'm
okay
drinking
with
this energy drink, and I got a lot of energy. I'm on the verge of dying, but that's
I'm
okay.
willing to die for that drink. Browns trade for the defensive end of the Giants, Vernon. 3 years he was there. He was with Miami for 4 years before that.
Yes.
Your thoughts?
You know what? I actually thought this was a very good trade for both teams. I really did. I think when you look at, okay, let's just take the Browns aspect of it. First of all, the Browns offensive line is very good to begin with. So they're deep. They're not going to have any problem filling in the Kevin Zeitler hole. They drafted Austin Corbett last year out of, I don't want to say it was one of the teams in Nevada. I'm blanking on it right off the bat, but he was a second-round pick, okay? They're going to plug him at guard. They got Joel Bentonio at guard, who's one of the better guards in football. They got J.C. Treader at center. They loved what Greg Robinson did for them at tackle last year. They got Chris Hubbard at right tackle. They have other backups behind that I know they value as well. So this was a move that was expendable to them as far as offensive line, and I think they felt like we needed to get somebody legit across from Myles Garrett. And they just get a new coordinator, Steve Wilk from the Arizona Cardinals. So he wants another guy to make his defense look good. Olivier Vernon's $15 million. He was certainly overpaid by the New York Giants. But at the same time, the Cleveland Browns are getting $10 million off of it because Kevin Zeitler's off the roster. So, yes, they're adding $5 million more to their overall salary cap by getting Olivier Vernon for a position I think they really valued and thought they needed to improve their defense, and they felt like they were good on the offensive line. And for the New York Giants, it's a home run. I mean, it's a home run. Zeitler is still an incredibly good football player at the guard position. I'm not going to say he's top 2 or 3 in football, but he's top 10. He's in that convo. So, now, okay, you got Nate Solder. You got they drafted the guard out of UTEP in the second round last year. They got him. So they're starting to build something there to go, one, we need to protect Eli Manning in what should be his last year in the NFL. And two, we got this freak of nature, Saquon Barkley, who averaged 5 yards a carry with not a good offensive line last year.
If we can be at least even a little bit below average.
Well, that's what drives me crazy. Better. Like Eli Manning gets talk of, the O-line wasn't good. But nobody talks about that when it's Saquon Barkley and he got 5 yards a carry.
He's
For
good
some
enough.
reason,
He doesn't need an offensive line.
Right, we don't need him. We don't have to worry about that excuse.
Have you seen his
for him.
legs? He doesn't need an offensive line.
They're amazing. Legs and ass, Hall of Famer.
That was long again, but I can't be mad because that was a lot of good information.
Okay,
so
good.
I can't be mad about
Thanks
that.
a lot. Thank you.
Rams re-sign Fowler. They sign Weddle. So that's that. They've been active, keeping some of their own guys, but also getting the Pro Bowl safety.
The Rams are I'm just amazed with the Rams. It's aggressive every year. It's we know what we want. Let's act on it right away. Okay, yeah, they're going to lose LaMarcus Joyner in free agency was their starting safety. Let's get somebody in here who can, who's been around the league, can understand Wade Phillips' defense, pick it up in a hurry, and still has some tread left on his tires. Eric Weddle's perfect for that. Plus, he was not overly expensive.
2 years between 10 and 12 million for Weddle.
Okay, yeah. So that's fair. That's a fair price for him. And really, it's probably a 1-year deal, and then he's going to have to earn that second year. So from that standpoint, now you talk about the Dante Fowler thing.
Yep.
Okay, well, first of all, they want that to work. They traded away a third-round pick last year, right? Dante Fowler did play really good down the stretch of the season last year, but I really think it's more of like this is their Ndamukong Suh of 2019. Let's give him 1 year, $14 million, just like they did with Suh. Let's see if he can improve on his play and maybe go to another level to where we can evaluate it, see it happen. If we get to week 7 or 8 and he's really knocking it out of the park, they can get him for the low, right, before he hits the market again and make him a deal to go, okay, wow, that's a good amount of guaranteed money. I don't know if I can turn that down and wait the other half of the season to get the free agency. So I think it makes sense for them to sign Dante Fowler. Was that quick enough for you? Probably
That was a good one. Yeah, I thought that was your best one so far.
Thanks.
We'll finish up with a couple quarterbacks here. Washington making a move for Case Keenum.
Had to.
From the Broncos. They had nobody. I mean, you have a huge question mark.
Yeah.
Alex Smith, question marks even with Colt McCoy.
Right.
You had to do it. And I think it's interesting that they did it because I don't know that they're necessarily done.
Yeah.
I don't know that he's necessarily the guy, but it does give you other options to where you do have a fallback. If you have no fallback, you're overpaying for a Nick Foles, or you're overpaying in free agency for a Ryan Tannehill, or you're drafting a rookie
trying to trade up probably.
Trying to trade up, and you have no leverage, and they're like, you really need to trade up right now.
Yeah.
So if nothing else for Washington, I do feel like Case Keenum, he might be the starter. He might be the guy, but it gives them other chances to make moves where they don't have to break the bank.
No doubt about it. If there is a quarterback they fancy in the draft now, right, there's no pressure that they have to get him because at least they got 2 guys on the roster. They go, no, they can run the offense. Yeah, they might not blow you away. Case Keenum, Colt McCoy, I think their physical attributes and skill set they bring to the table are very similar. But yeah, it just takes the pressure off the team. First of all, Case Keenum's played in some big games, some big moments.
Yeah.
Colt McCoy, I think they have a lot of confidence in, other than the fact that he can't stay healthy every time they give him the confidence to go out there and play. So that's probably part of the reason they bring it to. Those two, I think, will kind of duel it out to a degree. I think Case Keenum will probably have to mess it up to lose that job. But I don't know if I want to say this, but I think that would maybe, in my I'm not going to say it takes them out of the quarterback sweepstakes as far as first-round quarterbacks. I think the Redskins are still in it. But like you said, it kind of takes the pressure off if it doesn't work out.
Right. And the Jaguars, this whole time we thought the Jaguars, Jaguars, Nick Foles, going to happen, guaranteed.
Yep.
Boom, we've got one piece to the quarterback carousel shuffle filled in.
Yep.
But now some reports, and maybe the Jags are poking around with Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah.
Oh, it's interesting. Your thoughts on that idea of the Jaguars? Maybe not necessarily saying, Foles is our guy.
Right. Well, it makes sense with Nick Foles, right? Because John DeFilippo's there, who was the quarterback coach in Philadelphia 2 years ago when they won the Super Bowl.
Which is why all the rumors have been like, it makes sense.
No doubt, right? And so it does make sense. Now, my football, connecting the dots or reading the tea leaves, okay? The first thing I think about when I hear Jacksonville rumored in the Ryan Tannehill conversation, and this is something I'm throwing out there, but through my years of following the NFL, I've been right about these situations before. That's why I throw them out there. This could also be a ploy by Jacksonville going, damn, Nick Foles wants too much money.
Yeah.
Okay? So let's scare him with other options. We have the Ryan Tannehill option over here.
Yeah.
So if Foles is asking for $25 million a year, and now they come back and go, well, we might just sign Ryan Tannehill for $12 million a year. Maybe now Foles camps goes, whoa, we kind of like you guys here in Jacksonville. Nick likes John DeFilippo. All right, we'll come down on our price. We'll go to $18 million a year. Now Jacksonville might go, that's more like it. Okay, we do it. Right. I don't think this is a duel it out thing in training camp. I think this is a one or the other thing. with Nick Foles or Ryan Tannehill. And I'm not so sure if either one gets signed that they still aren't in the quarterback sweepstakes as well for the first round of the draft.
Yeah.
You know, again, it takes pressure off you. They picked number 7, right? So there's been a lot of talk. They like the Dwayne Haskins. Would they take Kyler Murray? Are they going to trade up to get the guy they want? Well, now, again, like you just said with Washington.
Leverage. It's all about leverage.
Leverage, and it doesn't make them desperate. If it doesn't happen or some team is asking for too much money to trade up in the first round to get in positioning for the quarterback, they can go, you know what, that's just too rich. We got Nick Foles. We'll ride it out this year. Or Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah, or if Nick Foles, if they go, yay, it's either me at $20 million or anything, then the Dolphins or the Jaguars could get stuck with Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah, they could. They could, right. And then,
nothing against Ryan Tannehill.
No,
but, you know,
no. What I think the Dolphins, you're hearing the Dolphins being talked about with Tyrod Taylor. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
They have to protect themselves for the what-if scenarios. If we don't get one of the 3 or 4 quarterbacks we like in the first 2 rounds of the draft, we got to have somebody that can still instill confidence in our team that the quarterback is capable of going out there and winning some games and managing some tough moments. That's the football thinking between those type of moves when you hear it. Tyrod Taylor could very easily be back in the same situation he was last year. They signed Tyrod Taylor for the Miami Dolphins. They trade up in the draft, and all of a sudden they got Kyler Murray, and they go, you're going to be the starter until we feel like Kyler's ready. That could very easily happen, but if they don't get the quarterback, at least they got a guy that's played some games.
Those were the quick hitters.
Bam!
That was quick hitters.
So quick.
And we did it in 45 minutes. Was the quick hitters.
Bam.
Before we go, I want to do winners and losers. I want to do winners and losers of the weekend. So I'm going to do my winner first. Can I do my winner first?
Yeah.
My winner is actually it's for today.
Right.
And the winner is anyone who needs sleep. Today is because I don't know if you know this, Chris. Today is National Napping Day.
Yeah.
I mean, every day has its thing, right? Sometimes it's ice cream day, and you can eat. So today is National Napping Day, and so if you are tired, you legally can take a nap whenever you want because that's the national day that it is.
Oh, really? Like legally, you can. Like you
legally,
can,
right
you
now.
can go to your boss and NBC
Correct.
and be like, I don't want to do the podcast right now. It's National Nap Day.
Correct.
I need to catch up.
If your boss says no, you can't do that, he's not embracing a national holiday.
Are you a napper?
Day. I'm actually not.
No.
I
what are we talking? Like, how many times a month do you think you get a nap in?
Zero.
Like,
I have a hard time falling asleep even at night.
Yeah. I do
because
too.
I have energy drinks during the day, and that does mess with me a little bit.
Aha!
But I'm not dead, which you called. You said I'd be dead if I keep drinking these. I'm not yet.
So. No. It's slowly trying to kill you.
In your face.
With no sleep over years and years. I am an occasional napper, just an occasional.
Okay.
Usually on my days off is when I try to catch up with a nap.
You get up so early to working with Mike for PFT.
And it's working with Mike, which is torture in itself. So it's a double whammy.
Do you have a winner?
My winner is Chad Ochocinco.
Oh, okay.
Because of something I read in the news. I was unaware of this, but apparently this has been going on for the last few weeks, but I was only made aware of it here recently. Ochocinco going around leaving tips according to his career stats, right?
Yes.
Like he left somebody a $296 tip because he only had 296 total yards with the New England Patriots.
Yeah.
That to me is really cool. Ochocinco, Chad Johnson, is really a cool guy in a lot of ways. And I know his history is not perfect, certainly, but I've been around him enough to know he is quirky, funny, as quick-witted as I've ever been, and I feel like that's kind of like a cool thing to do. It's kind of a winner.
We should get him on the show.
We will
at some point.
Oh, we definitely will, without a doubt. Yes.
Losers. I'm going to go with a fan. So I was working this weekend. I'm following. We got the Premier League with soccer here on NBC. Great tradition there. Viewership's been going up year over year. They do a great job over there. In the second tier of English football, it was a game between Birmingham City and Aston Villa.
Right.
There's a player for Aston Villa, the captain of the team. It was a big rivalry game.
Yeah.
Second tier of English football. A fan came on the field. I don't know if you saw this at all. A fan came on the field and actually hit one of the Aston Villa players, the captain for Aston Villa, Jack Grealish, and he went down. The player went down. Security was there right after he hit the player. They hauled him away. They arrested him. He's banned for life from ever going to a soccer match ever again.
Nobody beat his ass?
They did not. Security got in there quick enough, not quick enough to prevent the punch, but quick enough to keep the teammates from assaulting the fan who just assaulted their player. So no, he did not get beat up.
That's the difference difference between football and football.
I was wondering that. I mean, did that ever happen to you? Did anyone run on the field when you were playing? College, pro?
You know what? It's actually, I'm just thinking about this. I don't think I recall a moment I've been in the stands, been at certain sporting events where I've seen it, but never happened in a game I was involved in. But when I tell you that players would relish the fact of seeing a teammate about to get hit by a fan.
Yeah.
I mean, you're giving players a free pass to kick somebody's ass.
Yeah.
And I think that would be like very well liked by a lot of, especially defensive players.
Would you bury the fan right there on the field? Would you actually dig the grave on the field and bury him right there?
I would have loved to like just absolutely pancake that guy who's running around the field. But yeah, that's scary. I understand that.
It is. Well, because you just don't know. I mean, he could have a weapon.
No,
you
just
don't. You don't know, and
right.
so it really took everyone. I guess it just doesn't happen over there. I mean, it rarely happens over here.
Yeah, it doesn't happen as much.
Where a fan runs on the field, especially doesn't.
Did they show it on TV? Because over here we have the rules where they don't show it on TV.
We did show him on TV.
So you don't glorify it.
I know you don't want to make him a starter. So he's my loser.
Okay,
he's my loser.
I'm going to one up your loser. Okay.
Yeah. That guy's pretty much a big time loser.
Is he as big a loser as Jose Canseco?
Okay.
Are you sure?
You don't like Jose?
Well, I mean, it's like Jose does this to himself, but A-Rod and J-Lo get engaged this weekend.
Correct. And beautiful picture on Instagram of that.
I mean, two of the most beautiful people I've ever seen. I mean, holy cow.
Yeah.
I mean, I actually feel like they're always posing on the red carpet. Even when they're like at brunch, it looks like they're posing on the red carpet.
It does kind of seem that way.
It does. They always give like that squinted, like blue steel look, like no matter what. But they get engaged, and Jose Canseco's going to tweet about A-Rod's been cheating on her with my ex-wife.
He tweeted
about it
with his ex-wife.
I was with my ex-wife. He was calling her phone. Like, come on, man. Like, what are you doing? Like, are you that starving to be like relevant that you're going to just ruin other people's lives publicly? I don't get that. That's breaking the humanity code, the man code, any of it. It's just like a negative Ghost Rider. You're a loser for that one.
I think Jose has broken the humanity code a few times.
Yeah.
I mean, have you gone to his Twitter and just checked out the timeline?
Absolutely not.
Scroll through the timeline. There's a lot of alien talk on there.
Oh, good.
There's some time travel talk on there.
Yeah, I think that ball that bounced off his head for the home run has permanently damaged him.
It's like the all-time blooper of all time.
Yeah.
All right, so, okay, that's a couple of losers right there.
Yeah.
But and some winners, though. We don't like to harp on the losers. We like to harp on the winners as well. Although the losers do, and calling them losers, and correct me if I'm wrong, and I told you this would happen, makes me feel better about myself.
Yeah.
Because I say, I wouldn't do that.
No, I wouldn't do that either.
Thank you guys for listening and watching once again. We're on YouTube/NBC Sports. You can also subscribe wherever you listen to your podcasts. Week number 2, off to a flying start here, Chris.
It's off to a flying start. Okay, and Wednesday's podcast, we got the Kyler Murray workout.
Yes.
We're going to be reacting to that. We're gonna dissect every move he makes.
Wide receiver ranks you got?
Wide receiver rankings. Going to do a little deep dive in that. We'll have the big on as usual on Wednesday. And then, follow me, at C.
Simms QB. Next time we'll talk about if that's actually you.
Yeah.
On Twitter. No, we'll save that for next time.
Yeah, please do. And then I got at Simms Unbuttoned on Instagram.
Okay. And thank you, Malik Jackson. Congratulations on your deal.
Seriously. The deal that we can't talk about. Peace out, homies. We'll see you next time.